Have you ever looked down and wondered if somewhere under all those earthworms and grass, there's a whole world just pulling along? Hold that thought though, because you aren't zoning out. You might be thinking about Agartha, and Agartha may or may not be the real deal. This legend really begins in France in 1873, back when you could tell people the earth was a sandwich and at least 3 of them would nod thoughtfully and take notes. Louis Zacolio, a writer and colonial official, publishes a book called Les Virtudes, translation, The Sons of God. Now, solid title, but the content was even better. In the book, Zacolio writes about a city called Agartha, an ancient, immensely powerful city that he has found out about through a bunch of 15,000-year-old manuscripts from India. Agartha, a city that is not underground, not mystical, just casually existing somewhere in India. The idea doesn't take much noise at first, but it does take root. So much so that by 1886, another Frenchman, Saint-Yves d'Alvedre, decides to give Agartha an upgrade. He writes his own book, Mission Zolande Europe. Here, Saint-Yves pours his heart out about a hollow earth, a place he calls Agartha. He writes about an ancient world government rooted in synarchy that sometime around 3200 BC in the Kali Yuga era moved underground to Agartha and has been carrying on with their lives there ever since. Now, the guy goes on to claim he's in regular contact with the inhabitants in Agartha via telepathy, and he doesn't bother to hide how fond he is of them. Great folks, Saint-Yves says about them. Very zen, very spiritual, very chill. He even claims an actual prince named Haji Sharif taught him a secret language called Vatanian, apparently just for the experience. Fast forward to the 1920s. Ferdinand Ossendowski, a Polish explorer, returns from a long journey through Central Asia with a book full of stories the locals shared with him about a hidden empire existing beneath the earth. To reach it, you'd first need to find secret entrances marked in the hills, pass through, and you'd walk into an underground civilization, decades ahead of the world above. And if you were lucky enough to get an audience with its king, who apparently can see into the future, just ask him, and he'd calmly tell you exactly how your boss would respond to that risky email tomorrow. And from there, the legend of Agartha keeps on growing, the way stories do when people get excited. Some versions place it beneath the Gobi Desert, or under Ayers Rock, or even right below the Great Pyramid of Giza. Others put its entrances at the North and South Poles. Several accounts describe a vast network of tunnels connecting key locations across the globe. No airport queues, no delays. In almost every story, the people of Agartha are said to be extraordinarily peaceful. They are the kind of folk who don't fight over land or stolen pizza slices. If you slapped one of them, that simply turn the other cheek, because they're far too evolved to waste energy on you. The stories are so attractively amazing that they lead people to ask one perfectly reasonable question: could Agartha actually be real? Most researchers and historians answer that with a firm, unhesitating no. Others, though, push back, pointing to a centuries-old theory by astronomer Edmund Halley, who proposed the Earth might be hollow, leaving room, theoretically, for a world within. Modern scientists, though, have a problem with that. They clap back armed with seismic data, geological research, and evidence of a solid mantle, a liquid outer core, and a solid inner core inside the Earth, which basically leaves very little room for secret kingdoms. Then there are the more imaginative theories, like writer Robin Dickoff. He takes people back to 80,000 years ago. Back then, Martians have swooped down to colonize the Earth, and in the process, they've built a whole elaborate system full of underground tunnels that began in Antarctica and snaked all the way to Tibet, Brazil, the United States, and elsewhere. Another writer, Walter Sigmeister, takes that theory a bit further, arguing that all those UFO sightings science keeps dismissing are actually Agarthan spacecraft launching out of the North and and south poles. Some connect Agartha to Shambhala, the Tibetan Buddhist concept of a spiritual paradise, a realm of inner peace, a pure land. Though there is a key difference. The Tibetan Buddhists do call Shambhala a pure land, but this pure land is for the most part treated as a place that is spiritually attained, something you can only reach if you do enough good in this world. Agartha, on the other hand, is seen as something physical, rock, soil, and the admittedly slim chance of appearing on Google Maps. In the end, no one has any helpful answers, and the mystery holds. Come to the modern day, Agartha has gone on to inspire films, novels, video games, and much more. It's made its way into Tadanori Yoku's art, who designed a live album cover for Miles Davis's live jazz album, Agartha. It's even crept into a 1998 song by Afrika Bambaataa and Westbam called Agartha, the City of Shambhala, a song that paints the picture of a dystopian future Earth where people are enslaved only to be set free by saviors from, you guessed it, a hidden underground kingdom, which sounds a lot like Agartha. And maybe that's exactly what Agartha is, a place where freedom exists, a hidden utopia. Maybe it isn't something you'd find by drilling into the earth, digging with a shovel, or sneaking through mountain passes and frightening the goats. Maybe Agartha is simply the dream of a perfect world, one that's comforting just to imagine. So, what do you think? Is Agartha just a daydream, or could we actually be standing on someone else's underground apartment? Let us know in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and stay with Mythstory, because our next story is always way better than the last.